Hey everyone, Daniel Kayser here, the creator and co-founder of Favslist.com, to talk to you about something very cool today, and that is about telling a social story. Everyone knows that social media is very, very important. It's very important to all different types of brands, no matter if you're a small local restaurant or a big, gigantic blockbuster film or a sports team or a video game, like in the case of The Last of Us, which is what we're looking at on our screen right now. Your social story is very important, and the people who impact your social story are the people that follow your brand, that love you, or if you're just a consumer and you're really passionate about something or just like something, you should have an outlet for your enthusiasm. Guess what? That's Faves List. Okay, so The Last of Us. Here's a game. I want to show you a little bit about the social story that we're building on Favslist.com. Everyone knows social media is important, but right now it's just all a bunch of numbers. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. Everyone's just gathering, gobbling up numbers and compiling all this data with not a huge amount of efficiency in how it's actually utilized or put to good use. So this is a Game of the Year candidate, a very popular game, and this is the official website. You can see very prominently that they're talking about the reviews here. Last of Us is a masterpiece, 10 out of 10, as quoted by IGN. But if you look, I mean, at the top of this website and pretty much every website that's out there, you're going to see them promoting their social presence here: Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and you can see basically a bunch of numbers here, 502, I think that's, I don't know what that is, maybe 1,000. But anyway, they're basically pushing their presence on those platforms. And that's because they know that social media is important, because they know you're important as a fan. But when we go to the actual page for The Last of Us, which is a part of the Naughty Dog page, there's 288,000 people who like Naughty Dog on Facebook. 288,000 people who have given them a thumbs up and said, "We like you." What are they getting in return for that? Well, they're getting basically news posts. That's it. On this platform, Facebook, it's pretty much a one-trick pony in terms of what you get. You get information as updated by the brand that you're liking, and it gets put into your home feed, and it gets streamed in order of importance that they think is important to you. And it competes with all of your regular information in your stream. Of course, family photos and vacation updates and religious rants and everything else that you see on a daily basis on Facebook. So the social story of what's happening with The Last of Us is basically right now just a number, 288,000 people. And what you get for it, for liking them, is basically these news posts. That's it, a status update that you can like and share. So it's kind of a one-way street. And your opinion, obviously, as it changes over time, doesn't see any sort of impact. Faveless is all about telling a social story, your relation to that social story, and the story of a product like The Last of Us. Because let's face it, over time, this is really hot right now, but it might fade over time. It was super popular when it was announced. How has it been trending? How has it been going up and down? What are the metrics like? What is its social story? Well, guess what? We tell you on Favslist.com. That's what we do. Because every interaction with a brand like The Last of Us allows us to compile information to tell its social story. You can see that when the game was kind of came on the scene, well, when we started, it came out of the gate pretty strong at number 902. Over the course of time, by June, it moved up to 385. Took a little dip as people played the game and got interested in other stuff. But when reviews started coming in and people actually really started reflecting on the game, you could see that it went way up, and it's managed to maintain that all the way through to now in December. That's its social story. We only have 400 people on our platform. So imagine how interesting these metrics will be when we have 4,000 or 40,000 or 4 million people ranking The Last of Us. We have 9 people that have played it. We have 8 that own it, that is on their list of what they own. 8 people have finished it, and 3 have it on their wish list. If I click this, I could rank the game in any of these applicable categories. You're not going to see categories for things that it's not applied to, but you can see gaming art style, action adventure games, that's the genre that it's in. And you could also see what people are talking about today about it. So here's someone saying The Last of Us is Kotaku's Game of the Year. Nice job, Naughty Dog. Good job, Naughty Dog, is what they said. And that's something that happened today that went out to fans that were tracking it. You can see the tracking icon here. So if I'm tracking The Last of Us on Faves List, I would see this update that shows Kotaku's rating for it. Of course, we also tell the social story about what categories this game is listed in and where it stands. Right now, in favorite video games of 2013, it's number 1. It's 217 points ahead of Grand Theft Auto 5. In current Fave 5, it's number 2. Favorite gaming storyline, it's number 12. All of these things ebb and flow as users come and participate in ranking and telling its social story based on their feedback. So much more engaging than this, which is basically just a flat screen that kind of just shows you, hey, we're getting ready to do this. 3 days left, go vote. Now, Naughty Dog and The Last of Us will have a chance to engage with you on our platform when our newly launched brand pages come next month, and they'll be able to have a page there that says, hey, guess what? We're going to break things down and put you into groups. So people who have liked us the longest, you'll be in a group, and we'll call that the survivors. And basically, if you like The Last of Us for over a year, you might be a survivor. And if they want to give a special message to the survivors because they know that you've liked The Last of Us for a really long time, well, they can do that. If they want to start a new group that's all about people sharing trailers and sharing information about the game, they might call that the Infected or something like that. That's up to them. But we're providing revolutionary social tools that take this giant number, 200, well, it's not a huge number compared to other stuff on Facebook, but take this number and actually make sense of it. Because right now it's just a number. You're no different. Number 1,000 is no different than number 5,000. And number 5,000 is no different than number 50,000. We're going to change all that because Favslist is all about telling the social story of something like The Last of Us. And of course, that applies to not just video games, but it applies to everything. If you look at like a sports team, right now the Denver Broncos are being picked to win the Super Bowl. Let's take a look at the Denver Broncos. On Favslist, a part of my social DNA is the fact that I like the Denver Broncos and other people. You could say, boom, here we go. You see that they're trending up. Their season's been fantastic. People have been liking them. I want to add them to any faves. They're number 3 on my favorite sports teams right now. But you can see that people are talking about them and what categories they're listed in. Much more engaging than, again, looking up the Denver Broncos here and seeing the nearly 2 million people who have raised their hand and said they like this thing, but they don't really get anything for it or get to change that over time. It's black and white, on or off, pretty dull if you ask me, and we want to change that. We want to bring something new to the table and revolutionize the relationship between brands and consumers. Of course, TV shows are big too. I know that there's a lot of fans of Breaking Bad. Let's see where Breaking Bad is as a TV show. You can see that right now Breaking Bad has managed to maintain momentum and stay very high up on the list. 8.6 is the average user rating. It's listed in a lot of categories, including being the number 1 current favorite television show, just ahead of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones fans could jump in there and change that right away. It only needs 3 points to take the number 1 spot. We really want to tell that social story. That's what Favslist is all about. Revolutionizing the relationship between brands and consumers, and also giving your social DNA a place to live and letting you get all of your favorite things in one place. So that's a little story about how we are changing social media. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you on Favslist. Take care.